we were in my house, and my mum must have been out at the shops or something, right? So we were just in together, and for some reason, right, we decided just like to both like get naked, and then we just took turns like kissing each other on the arse.
Hey, you might notice that we're wearing different clothes than the episode because this is the day after. We've just done our St. Patrick's Day Patreon special.
So we're all in green.
With James and Kay. It was dead fun. We had a good chat.
Yeah.
That's over on the Patreon.
Yeah, you can go watch that now. We've had Marc Jennings on.
Of the Some Laugh podcast.
Which is always in the charts.
Yeah,
which
from
means
Glasgow.
He's hilarious.
Yeah, he's
great. That's why you should carry on watching this episode.
Quite a comedy-heavy chat with him at the start, didn't we? And then he told us a great story about him and a lad when he was 7 doing something.
I'm obviously
not going to. Why would they do that? Spoilers at the start of the thing.
Find out what it is.
But yeah, it was a class episode. Stick around to find out what happened.
Yeah, from Glasgow.
It was great. A good chat with him and that. And yeah, just here to have a little chat about the Patreon, innit?
Yes.
What were you trying
to... listen, we're trying to do some crazy things over on Patreon. We're doing talent shows at swingers places. Yep. We're doing burlesque performances where we, actually at a proper venue, we have to dance on tables and shit.
On a burlesque bill?
On a burlesque bill.
That's not a man.
Rip off
burlesque
pants. Bill. It probably is.
Yeah, it probably is.
If your name's Burlesque Bill, let us know in the comments.
Come down to the show.
We'll
it's
get
a full
you
routine, fully choreographed
by Millie Dollar. Check out Millie Dollar while we're here.
Got bruises on my knees from dropping down.
What a hot woman. What a sexy lady. Millie Dollar. Go and have a look. And thank you, Millie, for trying to polish the turd that is us.
Our unflexible bodies.
Yeah, speak for yourself.
My unflexible body.
Yeah,
that's coming to Patreon.
Yours and James's unflexible body.
James, surprisingly, a very good dancer. You'll see this in all the footage leading up to it. We're doing Great British Baked Off Our Tits.
Oh,
that's coming.
Oh my God, there's the cereal bar
Dungeons and
round.
Dragons on there. Fantastic, great feedback from that. We're going to be doing more than 12 live shows. Loads of stuff over there, isn't there? Sports
Day. Loads of stuff. Honestly, just £3. What is that? You won't even notice it's gone. But it all helps us to build an empire and take over the world and wreak havoc.
Do our wacky
across
shit.
the globe. So please join us in supporting genuine working class grassroots. Absolute maniacs we are.
Yeah.
But that's where we're entertaining. So, get on board.
You like watching Fail Army, don't you?
Well, check it out, guys.
You like that in podcast form. But yeah, go sign up. Patreon. Patreon.com/The Mad High Club. You get discounts on merch and tickets and early access 7 days before and all stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. £10 here, get free tickets to the live shows.
And you get prints and signed stuff.
Signed prints.
Club cards and everything. There's loads of stuff on there, so go check that out. Sign up, £3, watch all the stuff, go away. We don't mind.
Yeah. we're nearly at 500 Patreons.
Nearly there.
Wow.
So if you can get us there, do us that for the month.
It would mean the world.
It'd make our month. But so yeah, enjoy the episode with Marc Jennings. It was a great laugh. Callum's here as well. We always love Callum. And nice one. Sign up to the Patreon. Love yous.
See you later.
Starting. Yeah, we're on. We're going. Wow. We're here. Episode 105, I think. Don't know. Doesn't matter, does it? We're here anyway. We're here with Marc Jennings, everyone.
Welcome.
Welcome to the show,
all
man.
The way down
Thanks for having us.
Scotland.
Nice. That was that cultural appropriation, that or?
I'll let it slide on this occasion.
You can do me if you want.
I feel like
Chinese if you want to go do that. Have a go, go ahead. Go ahead, have a go.
I was trying to figure it out actually. But
it's Johnny Vegas.
Okay.
That's what this is.
Right.
And Chinese.
Yeah. I'm just the accent. I haven't got a Chinese accent. Have I?
I feel like Northerners are alright to do it. It's like I feel comfortable slagging the Irish as well because it's like we're not really punching up. It's more like we're punching sideways.
Just across. Yeah.
We're on the same level.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I'm quarter Irish.
Oh, really?
So that means I can take the
piss. From always, can't
you? Yeah, take everyone out. So you're down here. Are you touring or anything? Or are you just
technically? I'm just doing I called it a mini tour because I was too embarrassed to go to it because it's only a couple of dates. But basically, I've got a big show for the Glasgow Comedy Festival next week. So I just had done a few solo shows around the country. So I've done like Newcastle, Edinburgh, Aberdeen, and then I've just came for a few dates in London.
Nice.
And then I was in Manchester last night.
Yeah. What's the Glasgow Festival like?
Sorry, I mean it's changed hands for who organises it and obviously like during COVID and stuff, it was off for a few years, but it's good. It's I think for a lot of local acts, it gives you like what I used to do when I started out is it would be a way to just do like half an hour each with a pal or an hour,
right.
and you'd get a lot of your friends and family in if you're local. I think for acts that are coming from elsewhere, even sometimes bigger acts or folk that have done well at the Edinburgh Festival, it can be. It's hard to sell tickets.
It's different,
because it's like not a lot of people in the city know it's on and stuff like that, and depends on advertising or if you're just kind of comedy savvy. But it's good, and I mean it's like any comedy festival that's in those types of cities like Leicester or something. I imagine the kind of ones are the same, where it's just an excuse to go and do a solo show. You might get some punters in.
Yeah, just see what happens. Yeah,
I think it's mad that there's not a Liverpool one.
There used to be one.
Did it? What happened?
Only lasted for like a couple of years, I think.
There's so much potential.
Was it only like a week or something? No.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
It was in like on Renshaw Street.
Yeah.
Like that little the record shop.
Oh right.
One.
Yeah.
Then there was like a little room in the basement in the Royal Court. Just like selected venues, but only lasted like a couple of years.
Maybe we should start one.
Start one.
Take on something else.
I need sleep at some point.
I know I'm a proper workaholic, and everyone's always like, "Oh, it's so good, like how much you work," and I'm like, "No, I am gonna die. I don't know how to stop." Yeah.
So you're doing Edinburgh this year as well, or?
I'm going to be doing it. So basically, once I'm filming a show and stuff, and I do it in Glasgow next week, so I've really just been concentrating on that.
Yeah.
And then I'll have a couple of months to write a new show.
Oh, nice.
Basically.
Okay. When's the filming coming out?
I've not decided any of that yet.
Okay.
So I technically haven't decided what I'm going to do with it, but most likely I'll just put it on YouTube.
Yeah, seems like the best way to go nowadays, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
throw it on YouTube and.
I love Scotland. I want to move to Scotland. Yep.
That's easy to say when you're not there, and then you go and you're like, it's fucking raining all the time. That's a shite.
I know, but the tap water though, best in the land.
Some nice tap water up there.
Yeah, and
can you drink the tap water in the north?
It's not abroad.
Yeah. But
it's not like you went to Spain.
But it's in London and shit. People don't really.
I mean,
tastes like
in the city
metal.
and that. It's loads of old pipes and shit as well in the buildings.
So you notice the difference with the Scottish tap water?
Oh my god, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
We was in the Highlands though.
It's a delicious.
And I think that was coming like straight off a mountain.
Yeah.
They just turned the tap and it just drained the mountain. We were like, oh my god, this is so nice.
It's like 18th century plumbing still, probably.
Yeah.
And
we went all the way
also-
up to Tongue. You know, like John O'Groats ways. Flying here. So yeah, I don't know if it was like the same water you get like in Glasgow city centre.
I mean, it's not, but generally Scottish water is good. It's one of the things we are proud of.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
What was the other thing you said you were going to?
Drugs. So mushrooms.
Oh yeah, loads of mushrooms growing up there.
Because they're hard to get down here. They don't really grow plentiful.
Is that because of the Scottish water as well? They grow better.
Maybe, yeah.
Did you see there's a little mushroom map where it shows you where they're all starting to thing. Yeah, in like September, October, and it starts in Scotland because it like starts cooling up there first,
right,
and then it starts coming down. But then they just grow all around, like the northwest, just like it's fucking nothing there. We're like, fuck's sake, man.
So if we were to change a few of the drug policies in Scotland, we could end up like a new kind of Amsterdam or something.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Weed, mushrooms for medical use.
Aye, that would actually be a really good shout for tourism in Scotland because
oh my god, yeah.
You know, we need to do
Honestly.
something.
What city would you have it in? What would be the new Amsterdam?
I mean, it's probably going to need to be Glasgow in it if it's a drugs.
Yeah.
Or like Dundee or something, to be fair. But
Glasgow might be good for it because you got like the river as well.
That's
you can go down. You got river taxis. You're already on the way to fucking.
Wait,
what?
Was there not a river taxi
in Glasgow?
Yeah, seen it the other week.
Oh, I mean, I think people go on like a wee speedboat on the Clyde, but
yeah.
Aye,
but
I've never got a taxi back for a night out
along the river. No, is that not a thing? Well, that's what they were talking about doing at the new Everton Stadium, innit? Putting river taxis from the docks
to the Wirral?
to down by where the tobacco place, like by the Titanic Hotel.
Oh, right, okay.
So
Is
from
that just
there
so
to
you can
there.
get away faster after they've been
yeah.
I feel like people would die. So many bevied hooligans falling
They're
in
just
the water.
getting on a boat, aren't they? They don't like. They're trying to jump off.
Yeah, but you can walk and be fine. But if you're on a boat,
Yeah, it's
you
just
can,
a bit far, isn't it?
I don't know. But just the water's danger. If you're pissed.
Water's dangerous.
Water's danger.
I was in Australia at the start of the year,
Yeah.
and one of the guys we know, his stepdad had a boat, so we all went out on it for Australia Day. But everybody was like jumping in and stuff in the river, but I was like shiting it to go in because there's fucking sharks.
Sharks and crocodiles. and
Saltwater
everything.
crocodiles.
And everybody was slagging me off for not wanting to go in the water. And then, see, like 2 days later, a 16-year-old girl get eaten by a shark in that same river.
You were like, ha!
Yeah.
Told you.
It was so weird to be like, so happy to be justified. Oh, yes, come on! Yeah, but,
Thank you for proving my point.
Yeah, it's bad. That what a crocodile was it or
no, a shark.
a shark?
Aye,
in the
aye.
river, yeah.
Apparently,
Fucking
she was
hell.
on a jet ski or something and fell off. It's tragic, you know.
Jet
But
ski.
bad that,
Couldn't
so.
even get away on a jet ski.
Dolphins are bad there as well, aren't they?
What?
They
Are
like drag humans down and stuff.
Oh, they just fuck with people,
Yeah.
don't they?
Is that not whales?
Nah, dolphins.
Dolphins.
They drag
yeah.
them, drag like people down to the bottom of like the seabed and just like have sex with them and that.
God.
Have sex with them, yeah.
Awful.
Yeah.
Wow.
well, I mean, if the vast were consenting, I don't see what the problem is. Cal.
Treat you right, don't they?
3
I'll tell you
clicks
that.
for yes. 2 clicks for no.
When was you in Australia, did you say?
Just at the start of the year, so I
Oh,
was
yeah.
over doing the Perth Fringe again, just getting a show ready. So it's
Okay.
like middle of January to middle of
Have
February.
you done lots of different countries?
Really, I've done Australia before, but that's basically about it. So
Okay.
apart from obviously just.
And have you
UK.
done like Melbourne and that?
No, last time
Sydney?
I was there, I done Perth and Adelaide, and I was in
Mm.
Sydney for a week, and I done a couple of spots. But last time I was there was 2020, so
Mm.
literally as soon as the Adelaide festival finished, that's
It's
when
done.
everything shut
Yeah,
down,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then had to rush
Which-
to get back home.
Which is your favourite festival?
I mean, I do like Edinburgh. To
Yeah.
be fair, because it's just a lot of fun and like.
It's like the biggest one as well, doesn't it? Like,
biggest one, everybody's there, and cause like I play Edinburgh a lot through the year because I'm
Yeah.
based in Scotland, so it's kind of it feels like everybody comes to us
Yeah.
for a month, and it's just,
Yeah.
and I've always been lucky with places to stay, and just I've always had a really good time, so
Mm-hmm.
I do enjoy that. But the Australian ones are fun because they're similarly like you can just go out all the time and stuff, but you're in the sun.
yeah,
So
yeah, lovely
that's-
weather
Yeah.
and
That's
everything.
great. But no, I do enjoy Edinburgh.
We're going up, aren't we, for this year?
Going for a few days, yeah.
Aye.
I think it's the best thing to do in the UK. Like that, the Fringe is
If you're a
so
comedy
good.
fan.
Apart from mushrooms.
Well, Edinburgh on mushrooms. Now we're talking.
And it's the Scottish ones as well, so
Ooh.
yeah. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
We
them
want to
strong
take the
ones.
talent show there, don't we?
Yeah, we do a live show every month, and it's kind of like Kill Tony, but talent show.
Aye, but would that not ruin it? Because would you not just get loads of people who are actually good at all this, or these fucking street performers?
I
and
mean,
all
we
that?
want
Be-
good people on it. If there's good people on it, we'll say, because you still have the interview afterwards.
right?
Yes,
It's
that's
the interview that sort of makes the show. Because they
Oh,
do like a
Yeah.
minute, but then we interview them for like up to 10 minutes.
right.
So it's more that like gets people on side and
Mm.
stuff.
Aye,
It's like
I
people
was
can
tell-
smash the minute and not do that well in the interview.
yeah.
Don't win. Whereas someone's minute might be fine, but they smash it in the interview and everyone
Yeah.
loves them. So then when it comes to the vote at the end, they win it. Do you know what I mean?
That must be tough if they die in their arse and it's like a fucking 10-minute post-match interview.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
and,
yeah.
and we're
I just need
like
to take it on the
sat
chin and
behind-
move on.
Yeah,
You'll learn for this and move on to the next one.
it is an awkward situation, isn't it?
When they're not doing well
sometimes?
because you sat right behind them, like,
Yeah, and if you like trying not to laugh as well, and
Yeah.
I've got a loud squeaky laugh.
just laugh
Like,
right
trying
in
to,
the
like-
faces. But yeah, we might try and do one up there just to see. But I don't know what it's like, whether it's too late to even try and find the room.
I think
now
you get a
or-
room. Yeah,
just for
definitely.
one night.
Yeah, absolutely. Like there's loads of like so usually there'll be a day off for in most venues and they'll put stuff in it in the one night.
right,
And then
yeah.
even like free fringe and stuff, you'd definitely be able to.
I'll have to have a look
get
into it
something.
soon and
Yeah, that'd be boss.
Get
Are you
started,
going
yeah.
to Edinburgh this year?
I might go for like a week.
come up when we're up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do that.
It's like the 15th.
Might take the van.
Ooh, yeah.
Stay in that.
Nice.
In a van,
You
yeah.
get a van?
Well, my dad has.
All right.
So I'll
But is it one you
pinch
can
that.
stay? Has it got a like
Yeah, it's got a little bed and stuff.
right?
Yeah, so I'll go in that. But I was looking at like campsites. Campsites are like gone well expensive there
Yeah.
now.
It's fucking
Really?
stupid, innit, man?
Everything's just like hiked up in price.
So
That's
stupid.
bad when you can't even get a fucking tent.
Yeah, it's like
Right.
£1,000 for a bit,
Oh,
for a
it's
bit of
so
grass.
expensive.
Like, fucking hell.
Yeah. Callum's
So
dad's got a
stupid.
ponytail.
That doesn't surprise me, Cal.
Why Why doesn't it surprise you?
It makes sense, you know. Like
Yeah.
I think because your hair is,
You might have a
straight back,
ponytail, to be fair. He might have one tucked into his hood.
That'll be his final form when he's living in that van in a fucking ponytail.
Just like that every morning.
Just see it in the morning, like the little one at the back. Just like, hey guys, look how cool my pony is.
Check out my pony.
Is that what you've got to look forward to now? When people are like, I just can't wait till my parents die so I can get the house. If you're just like, I can't wait to get that van.
Yeah.
You know, the ponytail.
He wants to get that wig.
The ponytail gets passed down.
Yeah.
He had the father before him and the father before him.
Yeah. I just got an underactive thyroid. That's right. Thanks, Mum.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So are you from Fife?
No, from Glasgow.
Oh yeah.
Aye.
Oh, it must have been someone else with a Scottish accent on your podcast that said Fife while I
Oh,
was
it's
listening.
Stuart's for Fife. Aye,
Oh,
Stuart
okay.
McPherson
Yeah,
who does the podcast was he's
Right,
from Fife,
okay,
but
so
he
that's
used
me
to be
being that's technically racism, innit? You all sound the same.
No, it sounds the same to you, do we? No, that's
So you're from Glasgow, yeah?
Aye.
I was in Glasgow the other week. It was nice, man. I
Aye.
enjoyed it. It was like very similar to Liverpool, like
Uh-huh.
vibes, walking around the city and that. It was nice.
Yeah. Is that
Bit
your first time you were
stabby.
there?
Yeah.
Oh, nice one.
Done the Rotunda.
Oh, aye. How
weekend
did
there.
you
It
go
was
on?
good. It was class, yeah. It was dead fun.
Yeah.
The first night there was like one group that was like always chipping in and that, you know, like,
Sure.
but it wasn't as bad as they could have been.
Yeah.
Just a bit annoying, you know. Right? Every now and then you have to just go, shut up, will you?
I know.
But the second night was proper bouncing. It was
That's
sick.
great.
Like, yeah, it was sold out, so it was class.
Brilliant.
But it was just nice. I like starting going to new cities and that because I'm only just starting to get out there.
Aye.
So it's nice going to like Glasgow for the weekend and like I had the best scrambled eggs and bacon from this gaff. Honestly, it was so good.
Well, in Glasgow?
Yeah.
Where was it?
I can't. It was like a pink coffee shop, I think.
Right.
It's called. It was
You
called
think we'd never been out? We're like, oh, Scotland for the eggs in the water.
no, but it was just it had like chili oil on it and that. It was just
really?
proper well made. I'll find out the name in
Did
the
you
break.
have you ever had square sausage when you've been to Scotland?
I've had it here
Aye, because you must have it here.
because it comes
You
down
get in
past the
Greg's and all
border.
that, probably, don't you?
People smuggle it across the border like
That's an exchange. We bring the fucking square sausage and the mushrooms.
Yeah, they're mad them square sausages, but it makes sense for putting on bread, doesn't it?
They're amazing. They're
Yeah.
great. And like my mate Liam actually used to have a bit about how it's like he's English and he came up and he's like, now when you do the barbecues in the summer and he's like, you know, the sausage is always rolling off and he's like, look at that. But it's so nice. And potato scones, do you have potato scones here? He's maybe call them
Potato
something else.
scones.
Bread
no?
cakes, I think he's maybe call them.
Potato
There's
cakes.
potato cakes in
I
Ireland.
think you call them.
They might
Aye.
be the same thing.
Like a hash brown.
They're a staple. No, it's no.
It's like a.
Have I just offended you?
Yeah.
Aye. don't give me a fucking hash. But potato scones and square sausage are a staple of the Scottish breakfast. And I mean, I've got to say the full English breakfast it pales in comparison because it doesn't include those two,
Yeah.
you know, staples. They're brilliant.
I'd rather have them than black pudding. And that.
I do like black
I'm
pudding
not.
as well,
I'm
to be
not
fair.
into that.
Irish
of course.
breakfast has white pudding. Do you have white pudding?
And I'm aware of white pudding.
Have you, is you like?
I'm a very cultured guy, all right? I know about white pudding.
Have it?
Yeah, I used to love white pudding.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? What is it? Sausage.
It's just pig fat or
Also like
something,
the-
isn't it?
Oh, is it?
It's all like the
Just
leftover shit in it.
Yeah.
And like blood as well in it. Like
That's black
How's that
pudding's just pig's blood, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's mad.
It's wild, isn't it?
Oh, if
Oh,
only,
go ahead,
yeah,
yeah.
if only we had Google.
So you're from Glasgow. What? When did you start doing comedy, man? Was it?
Fucking about 10 years ago now,
Yeah,
probably.
yeah.
Aye, it's
Oh,
been
sick.
a while. So
Are you
it's
bored of it? Are you still in love with it?
both.
Okay, yeah.
I'm just because I'm getting to the end of this show, and because I was in Australia for 5 weeks doing shows every night, and I've basically been really busy, so I'm kind of a bit like I'm looking forward to a break now. But I do love it, and I'm really lucky to get. I mean, just even doing some of the clubs and getting to do solo shows a lot. Like I feel really grateful because that's what you work towards for years when you're starting out, and so now I'm able to do a wee bit of it. And I'm fucking knackered and not appreciating it.
That's it. It's a sick job to have, innit? Like so good, like the freedom of it, just what you do, you're going having a laugh. Sometimes your mates will be there, you just hang around fucking about and that. And then you sort of get used to it.
Aye.
And then you start going, oh fucking hell, I've got to drive to Leeds or whatever.
Exactly.
Like you're doing 20 minutes of work for £300. Shut up. And you go, oh yeah, it's all
Who
right.
books that
yeah,
gig, by the
Oh, I
way?
don't know.
You're like, "What? This is good." But no, I know. So I've been a lot of fucking Premier Inns the last couple of days.
Yeah.
And lugging a suitcase about and stuff. But it's great because I've got to, just got to travel about and do some nice clubs and stuff. So by 10 years, I guess I started when I was like 22, 32 now. So it just takes a while, doesn't it? How long have you been going, Dean?
Just over 5 now.
Just over 5?
Like 5, and it was from October, so like 5.5 or something.
Aye.
But that was like that COVID in the middle of it. So
I know, that must be a bastard, I think.
Knock a year off or whatever, because done a few garden gigs and that was it, really. Didn't do any online ones or anything.
No.
Didn't understand it. Just didn't get it. It must have felt weird. Like Hutchie was saying that he pre-recorded one and the postman knocked halfway through his punchline to set me up to fucking do it again and all that. I was like, well, what are we doing here?
How long have you been going to Callum?
Mine's really fucked up. Like properly I've been going from 21. But like before that, from like 14 to age 14 to about 18, I was just doing like charity gigs and shit.
Aye, because when was it you were up? Was it Britain's Got Talent you were on it? What age were you when you done that?
16.
Fucking hell. So that was in that period, and then, so do you kind of count when you properly started for 18 onwards, did you say there?
No, I stopped for a couple of years.
Right.
Yeah. Like after Britain's Got Talent, I went in for like a couple of years and I was just doing gigs like that I shouldn't have been, like corporate gigs.
Really?
I was going to like Cyprus.
So mad.
And like
that's
hosting gigs at like 16.
Cyprus?
Yeah, I was fucking bombing. Like it was so
it's mad 'cause
dumb.
that's what like the prize that comes with such a big competition in it. It's like you've won this corporate gig and you're like, what are you on about?
Like I literally done like 4 gigs before I went on Britain's Got Talent, and then I just got like projected up.
Aye.
And then I had like 10 minutes worth of material.
That's what I was going to say. How you couldn't have had a lot of material.
I've done it all on telly.
Fuck's
So
sake.
I was like doing these gigs, like doing Jungle Weekends with no material. Like go and do a 20 there in front of Stags and Ends, and I was like 16 with a suit on. I had to be out at 10:30.
Yeah, can't even buy a bevy or nothing.
Yeah, that was rough, mate.
I'm mad
That's
route,
mad.
though.
Amy's starting that,
I start on Monday.
No way.
Yeah.
First stand-up gig?
Yeah. First ever gig.
What the hell? Where are you doing?
Hot water.
Oh, aye. Oh,
It's
a bit nice one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Them Mondays are sick.
How are you feeling about it?
So I'm not allowing myself to think about it
Sure.
until Monday.
Right.
And then on Monday, I'll probably wake up and be like, oh my God, what am I doing?
But we've also done a year's worth of live shows where
I've
we're on
done
stage
it.
for like
This is
2
a weird
hours a
place
night.
to start from because I've like spent so much time with comedians and
Yeah.
Built up a fan base.
yeah.
Been round all the open mics with me while I was doing it.
Sure.
So she's like seen all the rooms, watched a lot of comedy, but just like you're saying, you've done all the theory, haven't you? You just haven't done the
I'm
practical,
doing the practical
yet.
now. It's mad the amount of people that was like, God, you're not bored of coming here, and it's like, can I not enjoy comedy? Just
Yeah, it was like I was dragging you to places and
Yeah.
you're like, no, I just won't come if I don't want to come. I
Yeah.
enjoy coming to gigs and watching stand up. Like it was mad.
But
Because
I
you know,
want to-
sometimes people bring their missus to a gig and the missus just only there because he's like fucking
Yeah,
whatever.
they're sitting there and they
But it was
don't
like
watch
when
the
Amy
show.
genuinely wanted to come and watch stand up and that, and everyone's like, "You're not bored of it?" And his set, yeah, it's like, "Don't
think
watch
that's a
him,
good
but watch it."
test.
Once you start, you'll fucking lose interest in it quite quickly.
But yeah, I've been waiting to finish uni to start, but I got offered a gig.
I offered the gig before she'd started, so she was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, better
So I was
get
like,
started." Then,
yeah, I was like, all right then, yeah, I'll do it. And then someone was trying to book me for in April, and I was like, oh, I'm already booked, sorry. And they was like, how? How's that possible? You've not
So I'll
gigged.
just check my diary. I still get my third one in. Right.
Yeah.
That's funny. I actually started just when I've done 2 gigs when I was still at uni, and then I took like a year before I properly went on the circuit, and because I just I used to go to the Stand a lot and watch the Red Draw, which is like the new act night there, and
doing that soon. Finally got on it.
well, that's it. But it's not that way. Like when you watch the new acts and you sort of think, you go, I could do fucking better than that. You know, I think that's quite a good motivating thing.
Yeah.
It's just
It
to, like,
is, yeah.
be, to see people.
Yeah.
Trying
Yeah,
it with some bad
people I'm like, where do
material
you
and
get
that,
off?
yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and you go a lot because that's a good position for you to be in because you'll have been to there so much that you know kind of what the audience expects. You've seen a lot of the mistakes people make and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and so you can kind of go in again knowing you're not going to fall into a few of the traps that people normally would if they've not even. Some people go and they've never even been to a fucking comedy club before.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they just
they're like-
get up.
Yeah, they're like, oh, can I do Paul Smith's job? Like, people do
Yeah,
that, don't
yeah.
they?
Someone asked me that. He was like, "Oh, I could do that. What you're doing there? Just chat with people and that." I was like, "Have a go then if you want." Like, no, that's what does me head in.
No,
It's like I
didn't
could do that. Like, go ahead then.
Didn't someone message about like, oh, I'll jump on, like message Hot Water, like, oh, if Paul can't do it, sometime.
I don't know, probably, yeah.
Yeah.
It was
like,
insane,
okay.
isn't it?
That's a funny thing you want to do for your first gig, just to do crowd work. Because do you not find like
It's hard, so hard.
Oh, of course, but no thing as well. Like you know that see when you're an act on a bill, and when you see somebody and they're obviously their material's not doing well, so then they start getting into crowd work. It's a bit like now in the UFC when like you know they stand up, literally stand up as they want, and then they shoot for the ground. That's what it is, isn't it? It's like right, I'm going to try and take a leg here.
That's funny. That. See, I like doing crowd work, and I put it in my set sometimes, and it's weird because some people
It's good
are
to
like,
break it up though as well.
some people are like, oh, you haven't got enough material to fill 20, and I'm like, I have. I just like doing the crowd work.
Aye.
And I use the crowd work to get into bits.
Well, that's what a lot of
Do you
great
know what I mean?
comics like Bridges and like Tom Stade and all that are really good at that. Like they go, hey, what's your name, man? And then like go, you ever done this? And then that's
it.
just
That's
a way.
exactly, yeah.
And
And
it brings the
sometimes you
crowd
get
in.
something out of it as well. Like
Absolutely.
you'll get a big laugh because of something that's happened, and then you go into your material anyway. But then I've had someone go, oh, yeah, you had to speak to the crowd to fill some time. And it's like, no, I didn't have to. I like doing it. I enjoy chatting. That's why I've got into hosting, because I enjoy that part of it. Like,
It's mad how many
just
people
weird.
don't recognise MCing as like a comedy
skill.
form.
Yeah.
A form
Everyone
of
thinks
comedy.
Paul Smith invented it.
I've heard that
Yeah.
when people started filling in for Paul, when he started doing his tours, that people would then come up to Freddie Quinn or whatever, but you're stealing his material, asking
Comments on
this or
Yeah.
comments on videos and that going, oh, he's just doing Paul's bits.
Yeah.
Like, what asking someone where they're from? Like, what?
But that was what was genius about that, because like I guess a lot of people had never seen crowd work before until started
Made
putting
it
those videos. 'Cause
Unless
they
you
never
go
put it on
clubs and that.
live
You're
at the
never gonna
club,
see it,
but
yeah.
then you put it online, and because most people haven't been to a comedy club, and then they see it and go, oh my god, that's fucking
He
amazing.
made it mainstream without going on telly.
Yeah,
Which is
Absolutely.
like, well done.
That was like one of the positives and negatives about it, though. It was like it opened up a brand new fan base. Like
Yeah.
all these people who've never been to comedy before, watching videos, and then they'll come to a show and
They've
not
never
understand
been-
how
yeah.
to sit and behave and watch a comedy gig. So like when he's doing his tours and stuff, because they know him from like crowd work.
Yeah.
So we'll go and do crowd work and stuff, and then he'll bring his support act on, and then there's a break, and then he does his show. But people go in the break because they think that's the show. They don't know there's like an hour.
Yeah.
That happened the other week,
an
didn't it? Some
actual-
fucking knobhead
yeah.
put it on Twitter, going, went to see Paul. He was only on for 20 minutes, then he brought some fella on, and then it ended. I'm fuming. And someone went, and someone replied, going, do you not realise that everybody else in the theatre didn't leave?
Aye, you
It's a
know.
fucking break, you tit. Like, it's so stupid that.
And he probably said at the end of the thing, like, all right, we've got an interval now, guys, you know, 20
Yeah.
minutes.
He makes it very clear.
It's
You know,
Imagine
people
doing
still-
20 minutes on your show. And then letting you do the same amount of time, some
Yeah.
cunt they'd
Then-
never heard of. Like, what?
That's maybe just somebody who's never been to Enton, never mind comedy.
Never
They've just
been
never been
outside,
into
yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Boo Radler.
Skips all the breaks on Sky Plus and everything. There's never any intervals ever. Like,
That fucking sitcom was only 15 minutes long and it just ended. I didn't even find out what happened to whether they got the girl or not. You know?
mad.
Have you had any mad hecklers or stupid crowd interactions?
I guess like I do get them because I see the last year or so I've been filming most of my gigs, so I have had a few, and then I've just been able to kind of put them online and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like you just sometimes you get weird ones and stuff, don't you? Like I was doing a solo show at Stand in Glasgow last year at some point, and I was just like, there was just this. I could sort of heard somebody talking the whole time, and I was kind of like, it was near the end, and I was like, right, I'd not addressed it the whole show, and I was like, can you just like shut up? And then she was kind of like, oh, sorry. And I was like, well, fuck, she sounded like fucking rough and steaming. And then this other guy just went, that's my mom for you. And I was like, oh no, there's more of them here. And you get loads of weird ones. I had a weird one where it was like, I was in the Rotunda actually in Glasgow, and there was somebody was chatting, and then I was like, he's all right. And then the guy's like, oh, he's translating for me, but the guy was Scottish.
Right.
And the other guy was French. And I'm like, sorry, the French guy's translating for you. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And it turns out he was just for a posh bit of Glasgow and he didn't understand.
That's so funny, that.
But you can never quite to see when something like that happens with hecklers though, and like they say something that just doesn't make sense. You never know whether they've tried to be funny and then just said something in the moment that just doesn't add up.
Yeah.
And then you kind of, you're on the back feeling, what the fuck. But like, I don't know. I try and not get see, the thing is with either bad heckles or even bad gigs, like I don't really dwell on it that much, So like it's hard to remember them because I just after a certain point
that was shite. That one.
It's water off a duck's back, isn't it? And then you just go whatever.
Yeah.
I think I'm good at that. I think I'm good at kind of like framing things pretty positively. Like even that thing they always say, oh, you're always looking at the one person that's not laughing in the crowd or whatever. I think I'm good at just ignoring them. I mean, you're fucking aware they're there the whole time. But I'll just try and look for the people. You look for the smiles, don't you? You're like,
feed off them rather than that.
There's the three beacons of light in this fucking darkness. I need to got.
What I hate though is like like if you are hosting or whatever, or even if you're just doing a set and someone is talking, and you sort of go, "Are you all right?"
Aye.
And they're either shitty and won't say anything to you, and it's like, look, I don't mind if you're talking, but talk to me.
Aye.
Because otherwise the energy in the room turns and everyone's like, oh, we feel like we're getting told off by a teacher or something. I was like, I'm not having a go. I'm just trying to work out what you're doing so I can do something. And then like, but they instantly go, oh, his energy's changed. And it's like, no, I'm just fucking trying to see what's happening because you're usually chatting and that.
Because I reckon you're scary as well, like to someone. Because you're scouse and tattooed and you've got an angry face.
Anything else, Amy?
That's why I love him.
No, it's hard though, right? And see, especially when you do your own shows as well and people are coming to see you, it's awkward because you don't you appreciate the fact that they want to come and see you, but then if they come and they're ruining the show, then you need to be a dick to them and you're like, right, I appreciate, thanks for coming, mate. Sometimes they've even messaged, like that happened to me the other week. It was in Edinburgh and there was a guy in the front row and he'd messaged me on Instagram before it or whatever, and then it was just heckle. It was just kind of, as soon as I came on stage, actually everybody was clapping, and he went boo for it, and he's like, "Shut up!" Boo. And I was like,
oh, scared me.
But and I was like, right, here we go, straight away. And then they were just a bit chatty, and like we're getting up and doing to go to the bar and the toilet and all that. So I was just kind of leaving them. And then there was about halfway through the show, and I was just telling, it was getting to the end of a story, where it's just about a quieter bit before the punchline, and then just before it, he fucking said something, and I just couldn't be arsed anymore. I was just like, mate, gonna get to fuck, right? Yeah. And then I was just like, look, you've been chatting through the whole show, fucking like ignored it until then, and then I just kind of had to go through him, and then to the point, and then he started giving a wee bit thingy back, so I was like, going to just get to fuck me, just leave.
Yeah, just get off. Yeah.
And then they end up chucking him out and stuff, which I felt did bad about it because I was like, and then because his mates came back,
for everyone else though, innit?
He was just a bit. His mates came back and they were like, they stayed and they're like, oh, we're glad that he's not here.
Yeah.
But he was a bit overexcited and a bit. He'd probably not been in comedy maybe before, and he was just in the front and he was just a bit too steaming. But so I was like, oh god, I felt bad about that. But at the same time, I'm like, well, the show was a lot better.
Yeah, that's it.
Left,
so. And everyone around him's probably going, oh, she fucking shut up or something.
Yeah.
Just ruins it for loads of people. It's not just like you on stage, and it's the people who've paid. Yeah. I've started filming stuff because and then when I'm filming, I start being a bit cheekier with people. Because now I'm like,
you kind of want to invite it.
I'm like, if someone tries to punch me or something, I'm going viral here, innit? So I'm like, let's go. Yeah. Start gigging with a gum shield, innit?
So I just went that Jim Jeffries getting punched in the face.
That's it, yeah. Does it happen with James Kilvington as well, didn't it? Like, that girl like swilled him and swung a dig at him because he used to be, he was an ex-boxer and that. She swung a dig and he was just like, fucking slip,
duck and weave.
Yeah, dodge, dive, duck, weave and dodge or whatever it was. Looking all out the place. So it's like I'm waiting for one of them. Just someone throw a glass at my head or something. I'm like, yeah, got one. Don't start throwing glasses at my head.
No. Oh God.
So you've not had one of them moments at gigs? Any big kickoffs?
Bottled, yeah.
I mean, again, there's been probably hundreds of times that stuff's happened. Do you know the one that was one of the worst? And it's like, see something you're talking about, like people are a bit scared and stuff, or you feel like a teacher. Because I do always regret it if I feel like I've overreacted a wee bit. And there was one during the Fringe last year, and it's always like sod's law that this happens. But I had one of the reviewers in, or one of the judges for the awards or whatever, right? Which I'm never going to fucking win anyway. But it's one of the days you're like, right, I just want to have a good show today, right? As I'm walking to the venue, my mate Steve said to me, he's like, oh, I just bumped into this woman that's coming to your show, and she said that she's going to heckle you. And I'm like, fuck off, right? Oh. And I was like, and then I'm like, what am I going to do here? Because like, because nothing's happened yet.
You don't know who it is either.
I don't know who it is. And then, but he sort of pointed out, and so I said to the staff, I was like, look, going to keep an eye out for somebody like this. And then they came through just before the show started and they went, I think they're down the front. And I'm like, you're fucking joking me, right? And so I'm like, right, I'm just going to need to go. But see, because I'd had my back up so much, I was like so ready.
Just constantly ready to go,
And so I got on stage, and literally before I'd said a sentence, she had heckled me twice. And I just went, right, and just went fucking right through, right? And like, but to the point where the rest of the crowd are like, oh my God, what's his fucking problem?
because you already knew.
Because I knew what was coming in, and then it was a bit like...
And you're not even
flying
started
kick
yet.
there, cantonade or something.
I literally, it was like that. I can't. But and then so I did go in, but I had to do it, and then they were just like they were still kind of chatting through the show, but I just had to kind of ignore it. And then basically the end they came up and they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, can I get a picture on it?" I'm like, and I was just like, "No, fuck off."
Yeah, no, you
can't
like, do that.
Literally done it. I was like, don't come again. And then they actually messaged me on like 3 different apps. The next day, I can't believe how blah 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 you were to me, and you're so rude and all this. And I'm like. And they're like, we'll never come. And I was like, good. I literally don't want you to come. Yeah. So, but I also felt like, see, after the rest of the festival, I never, anytime I had anyone heckling, I was just quite
you
relaxed
learned a
about
lesson
it.
from that,
Because I was a bit like, I think I was just a bit, I was too tense because I was like, oh, someone's in the room watching.
You're aware of it, aren't you?
Still go well, but you can't control these things. And at the end of the day, man, you've just got to play it as it lays. So
well, I've started doing that. Like, I used to get dead anxious at gigs and that going, oh, it's in Glasgow, it might be rowdy. What if someone heckles me? And it's like, most of the time, no, it's not going to happen. No. So if it does happen, just deal with it then. But I've never really been heckled bad at all. Like.
And the worst thing is, though, when you get your back up and you're kind of expecting it, and then you go out and you're going, all right, it's Glasgow, there's a hen doing, or there's not going to be thingy. And then you go on stage with that energy, and then maybe nothing even happens, and then you're like, or you say something and it's totally in your head, you know, and that's people must do that all the time. They come to Liverpool as well. I'd imagine it's like if they're a bit intimidated by the crowd or whatever, then they sort of it becomes a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy when you're like, the crowd are fine, what are you talking about? But they're just in their head, it's like they're going to be so rowdy, or they're going to be this or that, and you can't go on with these preconceived notions because, you know, ultimately you're going to. Like we've all done gigs where
you've got in it,
you go, oh fuck, they're a bit older, they're not going to go for this stuff or whatever, and then you go and it's great. So you just kind of got to figure out in the moment.
I reckon Liverpool and Glasgow is like a good place to cut your teeth, comedy wise.
I would imagine so. Yeah. Like I think it's. I've certainly enjoyed Glasgow, and I think the good thing about Scotland, like being in Glasgow, is that we've kind of got the same thing you've got here in terms of you've got the two cities pretty close. You've got Liverpool, Manchester, and you've got Glasgow and Edinburgh.
Yeah.
So you can just gig a lot, and you've almost got
not really doing too much driving. And
no, it's just a lot of an hour journey, and that's it. So it's handy for that, and then you've got that slightly different vibe between the two of them as well.
Yeah.
I had that in Blackpool, the comedy station. I was on I think I was in the middle, so whoever was opening. Like, I had to deal with like a proper big stag. There was about 20 of them, and it was proper rowdy. And I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be fucking nightmare." This. So then I was and then Ryan went back on to open the second section, and they ended up getting kicked out before they brought me on. But I was like so ready to get. I was like, "Fucking, let's go here!"
Boxing in the back.
Yeah, and then they got kicked out, and I went up, like you say, with that energy, like, "What the fuck?" And everyone was just like, "Oh, yeah," and I was like, "This doesn't match what you guys are doing." It was dead weird.
There's no more relief though when somebody like that gets chucked out. I remember I was in Inverness, like this was a good couple of years ago now, and it was me and Chris MacArthur Boyd were up, and we were doing this place called Hootenannies, which is just rough fucking pub right in Inverness, and Chris was on first, and there was these just rough guys that came up for the bar, and they were just watching. They're just sitting fucking talking dead loudly through the show because they're just having a pint or whatever. And I'm like, I just went to them. I was like, guys, do you mind just keeping it down a wee bit?
But you're interrupting their night at the pub, aren't you? That's the worst thing about them types of people, isn't it?
Do you know what he done? He just turned around at me and just went, "You think you're a fucking hard man?" And I was like, shit. I was like, no, it's just. And the worst part about it was, because I've never done that again, because I was on next. So that's what I would say. Never ask somebody to be quiet in the crowd if you've still to go on, because then you're just creating a problem for yourself. But thankfully, they left before I went on, and I was like, thank fuck. But
you're bad getting your head kicked in a place called Hootenannies or something as well. It sounds dead nice.
Fucking Jules Hollins.
Callum, did you Google what's in a white pudding? Just because I've not been able to not think about white pudding.
It was cereal grain, like oatmeal or barley, animal fat like pork or beef suet, breadcrumbs, spices like white pepper or coriander, and sometimes a protein, either pork meat or pork liver.
If you want to make your own white pudding, there's the ingredients for you.
You're welcome, everybody.
You know what sorry, one more thing about like crowd interactions and that. I found sometimes people really don't like it if you're like getting the better of them.
Yeah.
Especially like, you know, like mouthy type people. Like it happened on Monday. Oh, you got off, haven't you? Like I was speaking to a fella who said he was breeding spiders. I don't know if he was telling the truth or not.
Breeding?
Yeah, he bred tarantulas. So I was like, oh, that's mad. And then I said something about spiders in Australia. I'd done a little joke and that. And then a woman went, oh, scouse spider or something. And I went, what? So I like pissed. I was like, what are you on about? And she was like, a scouse spider in Australia. And I went, how's that going to get there? Like from here, like go through immigration and all that shit. Like, and she went, well, you were there. And I went, I'm not a spider. Like I've got a passport. Like I went, immigration's quite hard to get through. Like in Australia, like they don't even get you let go through if you've got dirt on your shoes. And then a fella starts going,
your webs.
A fella goes, why have you got dirt on your shoes, lad? And I was just went, what are we doing here? Like, what do you mean? I was like, because I walk in them, do you not get dirty shoes? He was like, nah. And I went, what shoe protection do you use? And he went, said these little shoe bags. And I went, so you walk around with plastic bags on your feet all day? And he went, yeah. And I went, have you got them on now? And he went, no. And I went, what's going on here, lad? You know, like they're just trying to be like, I'm not letting you fucking get the better of me. Like, I'm just trying to have a laugh. I'm not trying to have you off. I'm just trying to have fun. Like, it's just mad. Does me head in.
Yeah, some crowds are full, man. Did I tell you about the Blackpool one? That was like the worst rowdy one.
Was that when you said about your granddad's funeral?
Oh, yeah. Fucking rough. Yeah. So I was doing Smith's tour support. And it was in Blackpool. It was in like the North Pier Theatre. I think it's like 2,000 people or something. Like it's fucking insane. And like we're waiting to go on. I said like Paul goes on first, does a bit of crowd work and that. And like before like he gets announced to go on, you could just hear like the crowd just like shouting and like it was like booting off a little bit. Like a bit of rumbling, and you can just feel like energy in the room, like the proper weird feeling. And Paul went on, no one even clapped or anything. Like they just didn't give a fuck. People were smoking joints in the room. You could just smell weed coming through. And he was
fantastic.
Trying to talk to people, and no one was just giving him anything at all. And I was like, if he's not getting that, I've got to go on. I've got to go on.
And you're closing the show, remember?
So I'm stood at the back, like freaking the fuck out. I was like, oh my God, right? So he's getting fuck all. He don't give a shit. And then he brings me on. And same again. And then this woman just stood up, shouted something at me. But as like she stood up and shouted, someone behind grabbed her shoulders and pushed her back down. And then the girl who shouted her like boyfriend or whoever she was with turned around and just punched some fella in the face.
Oh my
like
God.
booted off, kicking off. I'm stood there.
It's CALLUM, OAKLEY, everybody.
Like, hey, isn't it mad when you go to the shops? Like, no one cares at all. And then I was like, you know what? Like my granddad died yesterday. Like my granddad went to my granddad's funeral yesterday. I buried him. I was like, I'd rather be doing that now than this gig. I was like, you're all a bunch of right, and they all just cheered, and they were like, "Yeah,
here we are, cuz."
And I looked at like to the side, and Paul Smith just got his phone out recording me, like laughing his head off, and I'm just on there, I'm just kicking off on all, and now I didn't for 20 minutes. I just started booting off.
Sometimes when you lose your shit like that, it starts working, innit?
Yeah,
like you start fuming and that, and people start like.
Didn't even say bye, just put the mic in the stand.
Yeah.
Was there ever any reason as to like what happened at the start, or were they just like steaming and just a bit rowdy?
I don't know what it was. It was his first tour. Like now, it's way more like policed and stuff.
Sure.
He's always had a bit of a thing of his audiences can be a bit rowdy, innit?
Yeah.
I think it's because I don't know whether it's like because of the type of comedy people seen him doing online of just chatting, taking the piss, and that they all go with a sort of like. I don't even know. A bit of a confrontational, bantery thing. And then they're like, well, trying to shout out and someone else, no, shut the fuck up. Yeah. And then they go, what? And then there's just fucking
and
kick off.
And they want to be on the clips as well.
Yeah.
Because like sometimes he's talking to people and they're on the clip.
And the clip gets millions.
And like, hey, look at me on this.
Yeah,
so people just go there to just like Like
I didn't even think about that. Yeah,
people just want to be involved, which is nice, but it's like they just don't know
for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
In it,
It's a good way to be able to charge fucking 10 times the price for the front couple of rows, I suppose.
Might go viral.
The viral seats.
Yeah. Have you got any comedy goals for this year?
Comedy goals?
Yeah.
Well, I'm interested. Have you get any comedy goals actually beyond the first gig?
Not bomb.
Yeah, I just want to be successful at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, like certainly, well, I mean, I'm literally just about to do one, like with the show at Glasgow next week. So I'm playing the Kinks Theatre, and it's like which is a big deal for me. And then filming it, and just want to get a good version of that, put it out online, write a new Fringe show for August.
Yeah.
And then going with that. And then I guess the thing I've been spending a lot of time on is my own podcast as well. It's called Some Laugh. And I think for me, we've nearly been going a year now. And so it's just like kind of keeping that going and just make sure we're putting
it's doing well, your podcast as well, isn't it? Like,
great,
it's always in the charts and that. You always when you get a little chartable update, so you're always up there. And that.
Do you have a big
cool,
Scottish following?
It seems like that's certainly where we get most of our listeners and viewers, I guess. So it's nice. And I think you guys obviously here in the Northwest have been really good for building up your own scene, and so we're kind of trying to start that, I suppose, in Scotland to an extent, you know. So there wasn't really just that type of one. Like a lot of folk have had a podcast, but it's about music or about films or something like that. So we just thought, let's just have one and we'll just get comics on and just have a
chat style. That's what I like about this. It's like, you know, just chilling, having a chat with people and that, and then people enjoy it. And it's always fun, but like, never really went into it as like, oh, we need a theme. We need like we have a few questions that we ask and that, but
absolutely.
You know, sometimes it's like you have to do some like off menu is a good one, but they've got massive in it. Acaster and Ed Gamble. Where it's like you have to pick 3 favourite meals in a restaurant or whatever. And it's like it's a bit samey though, doesn't it, every week and that. Whereas when you're having chats with people, the chats can go anywhere. No boundaries on the chat and stuff. Like,
well, for me it makes sense because I mean that's the whole thing with like doing the stuff and like on your own and doing it online is that like you don't actually need like some niche or whatever, and that's like everybody's I think in that mindset from like, you know, having to try and do telly stuff and doing the Fringe. It's like, what's your show about at the Fringe? Or right, if you got a podcast, right, it needs to have a USP and all that stuff. And then, but if you just start, you know, if you want to go to BBC Sounds or something, that's what they really demand. But if you want to go, I just want to start my own thing and just have a chat with comics and have a laugh and all that. Yeah. You can just do that and then shock horror people actually like to hear that.
Well, it went from like when I got into, before I'd done stand up, I was into podcasts like American ones. Yeah. And they were all just sitting talking.
Absolutely.
Some of it might be a bit boring in places, but you like not even boring, just like not hilarious or whatever. Yeah. But it's like in-depth chats about stuff, and you sit and you just feel like you sat in the room with them. I used to love that.
Repeating subjects as well, but it's human beings at the end of the day. It's like we
like
might
if you just learn something dead fascinating, like for the next few episodes, every guest you get in, you might go, "Hey, do you know this? It's mad, isn't it?
Do you know the ingredients to white pudding?"
You do know.
And you're like, sorry to the listeners, but you don't know this, so. But
yeah, and also because all people are staying in more and socialising less, and this is a way of socialising or feeling like you're hanging out with friends in it. And especially if you come from a small town and you might not be able to find like-minded people. Absolutely. Well, now we're going straight to your living room in it.
Yeah, and then we do shows that you can come down to and meet other.
Yeah, and we've proper started from like ground zero. We was on the dole when we started this. Really? Yeah, it was proper like. I'm dead proud of us for.
Oh well, it's a beautiful studio and stuff like that, and it's you've got it looking great.
You.
It's good, but it just shows you like how quickly things can roll on, and then
it's been fast, like you
just put it out there for people to find, and then you know folk like it.
That's the best thing about having the internet, innit? It just gives everyone a fair platform to start from.
Yeah. That and porn, obviously.
And porn.
Two best things.
Yeah, that's plan B.
Get into that as well. What's your favourite porn? Answering that one.
I'm a fan of it all. You know, it's like when Donald Trump was saying, "What's your favourite bit of the Bible?" All of it. It's all of it.
It's all great. Yeah.
It's like you've made so much money though. If we did porn on Patreon.
Yeah, because there's that the Plug Talk. That's a podcast in it. There's a fella in America who had a podcast called like No Jumper. It was quite a big podcast, like hip hop artists and shit on it, just crazy people and that. But his missus is a porn star, and they've started the podcast which is like Patreon only kind of thing, and they get porn stars on, interview them, and then they all shag like on camera.
Is that not what this is?
Nice.
This can be the first one if you want.
I thought that was my fee, actually. It was.
You have to suck Callum off first, though. You have to go through Callum to get to us. We're like the final boss.
Foreplay and
yeah. Right, we'll have a little... we'll have a little 10-minute break, and then we'll come back. We'll do a little 45 there. Yeah. We'll be back in a minute. Nice one.
Take on me that.
We've got loads of merch over at comedymerch.co.uk. Loads of different designs, different colours you can get them. They're very comfortable. Daniel Sloss wears them. You want to be like Daniel Sloss. Phil Chapman, he's got himself one. Dan Nightingale, all lovely people, all bought merch. Amy's got one on. Little Batman. Bong man.
Like Batman.
We're going to be adding some more designs soon as well. Just been busy over here. But yeah, it's sick merch. It's fairly decently priced as well. It's pretty cheap, you know. You're supporting the podcast. We get money from it. You can rep us in the streets. It looks cool. Doesn't look like podcast merch. You know, there's some like tattooy style designs, black metal stuff. Just one of them looks like a Metallica t-shirt from Far Enough Away. You know, and everyone likes Metallica. So get on there, comedymerch.co.uk. Support us, rep us in the streets.
That's right. Thank you. Love yous. On with the show. Feel Supreme.
Oh, everyone's heads just fell off there. Everyone's going, what? That wasn't Dean saying Feel Supreme this time? No. We've got a new Feel Supreme advert.
Basically, this is what we use to
get
enable
ourselves
us
going.
to fuel us on our insanely hectic
Schedule.
journey. An example of what you can get over at Feel Supreme.
What have you got, Amy?
Nano Mist sublingual spray. I'm going to show you. So 0 THC organic vegan. Daily dose, 3 to 4 sprays under the tongue. And I'll just show you
Pure CBD.
how easy is this
Finest.
for you? Like for getting your vitamins and that. Like it's hard to swallow pills all the time.
Yep.
Have a look at this.
CBD, great for like helping with anxieties and stuff. That didn't look like it was
But
great.
just because I sprayed it on my face.
Have a go.
Yeah, it
I'll have
tastes
some
nice.
as well. Watch this.
It tastes
Easy.
nice. It doesn't taste
It's
awful.
like orangey, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Nice.
And now look, you're better than before. Do you want to be a better version of
Aye,
yourself?
honestly.
In just 3 to 4 pumps of the pump.
Honestly, Feel Supreme.
I feel supreme.
I feel 15% more supreme
This one,
because I use code
20%. Oh, 15. He was right.
TMHC 15 at checkout, and it made me feel 15 times more supreme than it did in the past.
This is not an empty one. This is the one we're using at home. So we need to take that back home. But Lion's
I was going
made
to just leave the box here.
mushroom tincture. So we literally just put that.
In the coffees.
Drop it in our cough. Blub, blub, blub. In our coffee. And
the benefits to them mushrooms are?
sorts your head out. Memory.
Is it not on the bottle?
Probably.
We're gonna bring a pamphlet next time.
Memory,
Tell you all the
focus,
stuff.
and digestion.
There you go.
Who doesn't want better memory, focus, and digestion?
Who doesn't want to remember that the poos was better than last time?
And also, genuinely, I need to talk about cordyceps because, and I also wish I brought the booklet to remember what I was going to say about cordyceps.
Chinese.
The cordyceps is why China won 5 gold medals at the Olympics, and that's a fact.
The China
That's a fact.
fungus.
Yeah, so it's just it enhances your oxygen intake.
Yeah.
And that's why they win. That's why they're
It's
winning.
good for pre-workouts and that if you go to the gym.
We need to get on this so that we can win. Go medals!
Sports Day. That shall also be on Patreon.
Oh.
Little throwback into the Patreon advert.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, if you go over to CBD, go over to Feel Supreme, you'll see loads of stuff you can get. There's loads of vitamins, minerals, CBDs, mushrooms, all different types. You can get 15% off your entire order using TMHC 15.
And not that it matters, but the packaging's fucking sick.
Packaging's great, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
such
very
good
professional.
packaging. Look, this mushroom blend.
It won
good for
awards
you.
for best supplement.
Do you know what? Do you know what, Dean? That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Intestines, brains, and COVID. Why is it? I don't know what that is on there.
Just your immune system. Innit?
Yeah, but so this mushroom blend has got shiitake, chaga. I bet you've never even heard of that. I've not. Mateke, arashi, astragalus root, lion's mane, and black pepper.
All in
one
little tablet.
Wow.
You get all the benefits. So head over feelsupreme.co.uk. Use code TMHC15 at checkout.
Supreme.
Make yourself feel better.
Why not? Do it for you.
And one time, Ribicide, motherfucker. That's another product they have.
Ashwagandha.
Nicotinamide Ribicide or something. Makes your cells regrow.
Nicotinamide Ribicide stops you from aging.
All that stuff's on
Go
there.
and have a look.
Do you want to look younger and have better poos and better brains?
TMHC 15. Every day.
See you later.
Bye.
On with the episode.
Bad for the prostate.
Yeah.
Oh.
Got that on the end there. Have you ever had your prostate checked?
Nah, don't need it yet, do I?
No, but I don't know.
Well,
What?
potentially.
I don't know. Hands on your doctor.
Statistically, no, but you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you had yours?
No.
No.
Not by a doctor anyway.
My nan had half her colon removed, half her intestines removed.
After colon.
Yeah, so she'd like eat and then it'd come out pretty sharpish.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. She was.
Not chewing enough.
Her head was also on sideways, like proper like that. All that to come. Can't wait. Yeah. Proper bad start, mate.
So what were you saying in the break about Scottish slang?
Scottish slang.
Scottish slang.
I just wanted to know some Scottish slang.
Mm-hmm.
Give it to me.
I mean,
Put you on the spot.
A lot of our words are Scottish slang. Have you ever heard the phrase "I am a"?
What?
I am a.
I am a.
I am a. I am a.
Basically means yes, I am, right?
Yeah.
But
I am.
so you say I, obviously yes. Am means I'm,
Yeah.
and are means are.
Yeah.
So it actually is yes, I'm a.
Yes, I'm a.
But people say I am a.
Yeah.
I
It's
am
like, oh, you know, you're not something. I am a.
I am
people would
a.
say,
Yeah.
you know, so
Yeah.
I
That's
am
a mad one, isn't it?
yeah.
I am a.
Even for me though, I remember being like in like 5 and starting primary school and hearing people say it, and even then being like, that's not grammatically.
Yeah.
I didn't even know the whole alphabet at that point. I still knew.
Yeah.
I fucking rang.
I am a. Yeah. I am a.
So Scousers, Scouse slang, webs for shoes,
Webs for
webs
shoes.
for shoes,
Yeah.
bins for glasses.
Bins.
Bins, yeah.
Do you know where that derives from?
Nah.
No.
John Eds. I found out where John Eds come from, no. Because it was people used to buy 110s
110s.
from
No, it was
John Tens.
John 10s, 110s, John 10s, John Eds.
Yeah.
Evolution.
Like Scallies. Call them
Right.
John Eds here.
John Eds.
You call
really?
them Neds, don't you?
Yeah.
in
Or
Scotland.
Bams. Bams is a
Bams.
Bands.
Bam.
Like a
Bam.
bam. Like a
BAM.
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 Yeah.
Fucking
Bam.
bam. Because Ned is a bit like, it's a bit of a classist term, I suppose. Because
Yeah.
it's like, people say this isn't what it stands for, but the
Non-educated
non-educated delinquent and all that shit.
Yeah.
But BAM's like, oh, stop being a fucking BAM. You know,
Yeah.
like it's just, you can. That's a bit more of a,
Yeah.
that's what people, you can say BAM and it's not got the same classist connotations.
Yeah, like
I would
me
suggest.
calling someone a Ned doesn't really work. Because like
you're a scally.
that's it. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm like fucking rough as well, yeah. So yeah, Bams. Yeah.
It's for Ned. Ned sounds quite cute. I don't know, it doesn't sound.
Little Ned, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Flanders.
they're trying to stab
Yeah.
you.
And same with skulls, because it's scallywags, isn't it?
What, see la or whatever
La.
you say. So how would you spell that?
LA.
LA.
LA, but there's like, it sounds like there's an R at the end.
Yeah. Some people do say like Keegan says when he says me ma, he puts MAR.
Ma.
But
Yeah.
I read that as like mar.
But it's short
Me
for
mar.
but it is short for lad, basically.
Yeah.
They're just saying lad.
Yeah, it's just trying to abbreviate it even smaller words. It's quick, innit? So you just
That's
cut out what
probably
you
the
can out.
most Scouse word,
La,
in
Yeah.
existence. La.
la, da, ma. It's just a
You get a
lot.
lot. You get a lot of knobhead. I hear a lot of knobhead by
Knobhead.
people on
Yeah.
stage.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
fucking not bad.
Yeah. Job's a mad one.
Job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Taxis.
Job.
Yeah. Spells a
I don't know
Job.
where that's
What's some
Urban
more
Dictionary, isn't it?
Scottish ones?
Scottish one. I'm trying to think like stuff that you won't know because there
Was
is.
Jobby a Scottish one?
Yeah, I mean that's like
Jobby.
I mean probably popularised by Billy Connolly. I would
Yeah,
imagine,
yeah. So I just didn't know whether it was like.
That's like something
from
I would
Scotland
never
or-
say that because it's like it's a bit. Maybe it's a bit old fashioned, or maybe it's like something you would say as a kid. It's like poo, basically.
Yeah, yeah,
You're never going to say that. It's a
Yeah.
shite or whatever.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
But
See, shite seems more Scottish as well.
but do you not say? Do you say that in the north? Don't you?
I say it
Yeah.
all the time, yeah,
Aye.
but just the accent makes
Yeah.
it sound like it's originated from there.
Some stuff, and I'm probably guilty of this as well. That you just think that it's only Scottish people that do it, and then like actually people do it in North England.
They have
Like
mischief night in Scotland.
mischief night.
Yeah, the night before Halloween.
No,
Okay.
Mizzy
every
night?
night in Scotland is
Mizzy
mischief
night.
night.
Yeah. But it's like the night before Halloween. All the kids go mad, like egging houses and
And putting
causing
toilet paper and
shite
stuff.
in it.
Yeah.
Really? Because I've seen that in like South Park or whatever. But
Yeah.
That's on Halloween.
I
though,
thought
usually.
that was on Halloween.
But,
Aye.
yeah, I don't know how far out of Liverpool it extends because I don't
Go-
even know if
goes
it
by
happens
mine.
in Manny.
Goes by man, yeah.
But
Yeah.
like, let's say Merseyside, then
Mm.
I don't know how far out it goes from that. But the day before, it's just like shops don't sell eggs to kids and that.
Not.
Because they know you're just gonna fucking whip over people's houses. Yeah,
Oh my god.
I know it's mad.
I've had a few bounced off my car. Like,
Yeah, I got drive-by egged, just thrown at me.
Yeah,
They all
I've had that
missed me.
before.
I was just like, this is fucking shit. It was just mad. Like,
But it's annoying because you probably remember when you were those wee kids doing that, and then you're now got a car, and you're like, "You fucking wee
oh
bastard."
no, I was the kids. I was the kids' age getting thrown at.
Oh, were you?
Yeah. I was quite young when it happened. I wasn't like a proper scally, like
No.
one of the little terrors. I was used to be the one who'd be too scared to do something because
Sure.
I'd be like, I'm gonna get caught. I don't know. So
I was
yeah.
always the same actually. I was one of those.
But yeah, so I'd never mischief night. I was like, I'm staying in.
Yeah.
Just gonna play some video games with my mates and just stay inside.
I'm just going to stick to the chief.
Yeah.
If there's any listeners not from Merseyside, do you have Mizzy night as well? Let us know down in the comments.
Sure, there will be other places.
Yep.
Should we do some staple questions?
Yeah, was you Googling something?
I was Googling the word Job,
Job.
Oh, okay.
but it just told me that it meant taxi, so it didn't really solve anything.
Okay. All right. So it was embarrassing sex stories.
Going
How,
straight
in
how
with that
about
one.
that?
No, I thought I'd get a bit of foreplay before this.
I know,
but-
yeah. No
Embarrassing
addictions and
foreplay
nothing.
stories.
Do you know, I actually had one when I was in Liverpool. I mind I was down here doing hot water, and I just had to stay over the night in an Airbnb, and it was like this old guy's house, right? And I shagged him. No,
You can either pay or...
no. What happened was, so he was a wee old guy, and he was dead lovely guy, but he was in his like 70s or something, and so it was just like a room at the top. He had like kind of 3 stories right on the wee canal bit, and I was just in a wee room in the top. So I was there for about an hour, and then I had to go to the gig, and so I went out, and then I met somebody at the gig, and I went back to hers and stuff like that, right? And so and I was only staying at his place for one night, so I was going back the next morning, and I hadn't actually stayed there.
Right.
And then so I'm just thinking to myself, what am I going to like say to this old guy? Because I can't even like, hey, I'm a fucking shag, I'm a man. This guy's like a widow or something, probably, right? So I'm like, fuck, what am I saying? Like, so I'm trying to like piece together a story in my head as on the walk back, but before I can think of something, I get to the front door and he's like in his garden, and he's like, "Oh, Mark, I never heard you go out this morning." And I was like, "Oh, I just went for a walk."
Yeah,
and,
really rising.
and then I had to like, he made me breakfast, right? And he's sitting and he was a pure lovely guy, and he was talking about, he used to be like a big socialist and like would do all the trade union stuff back in the day in Liverpool and all that stuff. He was telling me about that. I was like, he was a really cool guy. And then I was like, but then occasionally he was like slipping in stuff, and I was like, fuck, does he know? Because he said something at one point to me along the lines of like, he's like, so well, I'll just need to, wash the sheets for the next guest. No, that's no job for a man, is what he said. And I was like, is this him hinting like, you didn't stay in that bed last night, did you? But I just couldn't bring myself to tell him, and I should have done, but I just was like, oh, and then I just went away. And I wish I had said to him, but I can say this now because I think he's probably dead by now. But one of the weirdest ones I had though, right, was I was in London, and I've not been on the dating apps for a while. I deleted them because if you talk about addictions and stuff a lot, like I felt that was getting to be a bad habit for me, just like constantly swiping and stuff like that, you know, because I think
it's getting the attention of people who are matching with you, little dopamine hits from them getting a match and all shit like that. Yeah.
And it just to the point where it becomes like a fucking game on your phone or something. Do you know what I mean? And you're not even realizing that you're doing it, and you're not, you know, and then you chat to people, but you've never really got any intention of doing it at the time or something. So I read that book, Atomic Habits, not that one.
We've like watched a brief, like a summary of the book in it. Like,
aye, but it's good, and it just talks. There's a bit in it that talks about make your bad habits harder.
Yeah.
So you know that way, what people do in dating apps is like you delete the app, but your profile's still up. So and then you start thinking, because people can still match you and stuff, even though you've deleted it. So you go, a couple of days go by, and you go, oh, maybe the fucking love of my life has matched with me, and I've missed out. So I'll just go on and check, and then you re-download it, and then you don't fucking delete it again for however long. So I just thought, right, I'm going to just deactivate the apps because I'm just sick of using them and meeting people that I'm not like, you know, really that bothered by whatever. So I deleted them, deactivated them, and I've not been back on them since like last summer. Yeah. So that's been good in that way. But I say it used to be a bit of a like that used to be what it was like. But I've not been on in a while. But when I was on them, I was in London and I'd matched with this girl who she messaged me and I'd never seen it. So then I was there in London, like say a month or two later, and she messaged me again. She must have seen that I was like within the radius again or whatever. And she's like, oh, I messaged you last time and you never replied, and it really turned me on and that stuff. And I was like, all right. And so I was like, oh, sorry, I just never like seen it. No, but then I was like, oh, I just never seen it or whatever, you know. So it's like cool, and like she seemed nice and stuff. So we got chatting, and then she's like, right, I'll be honest, I just want to fuck you and blah blah blah. But I've got a boyfriend, but we're in like a polyamorous relationship, and he gets turned on at the thought of me shagging other people and stuff like that. And I'm like, all right, you know, cool, fucking, you know, whatever. It's not my fucking thing, you know. But so I'm like, cool. So we basically agreed to meet up, but it was like, there's something, I was like, there's something not quite right here, right? I was like, there's something just that I couldn't quite put my finger on. And then when I met her, she was German. I was like, oh, that explains it. Yeah. I was like, all right, that's all European fucking, you know. I don't know, maybe this is normal to you guys. I don't know what the script is, so she was so she was like, oh yeah, like she was like texting him, like letting him know how it was going and stuff. But it was weird because you meet up, right, and we'd already basically agreed to shag, so but you still need to have the small talk, and we had, you know, where it's going, and one pint, and it was like in the afternoon in Camden, and we're just sitting, and then it's just kind of like, you know, you just try to get somebody's vibe, but like, you know, I say, you know it's already happening, So we do that, and then we go around, and it was great, and it was good fun and stuff. And she was actually dead sound, and we like had a good chat after and all that. And she was just sort of explaining to me like what the relationship is and all that stuff. So then the next time I was in London, I messaged her again. I'm like, all right, I'm about if you want to do the same thing again. And she was like, oh well, so her boyfriend was French, right? And she was like Etienne or something was his name, and she's like, oh, like I would love to, but the only way that Etienne says it's okay is if that he's allowed to watch. They've stepped up this game, time, And I'm like, fuck. And I was saying to my mate I was staying with, and he's like, you need to, man. Like, think about the stand-up, That's it. It would have been a good story, but I was just like, I just couldn't get over the fact. Listen, we've all played difficult crowds in our time, right? But that would be because I'm sitting there thinking he's going to be like fucking raging that, you know, he's you know, if you're shagging his girlfriend and like he's going to want to batter you or something, but I think he would actually more scary. He'd probably just been sitting there fucking start kissing you and wanking off. That's it. But then she was like, oh, you can like boss him around and chuck him out the room and stuff if you want. I'm a bit like, I don't know. But I was just like, I don't know, man. That's a bit too. Imagine how gutted he would have been thinking he's going to be sat wanking in the corner, and you walk in straight, just grip him and throw him out. Nah, not today, son.
After you shagged the first time, did she like text him being like, oh, 10 out of 10? Or
yeah, I think she kind of gave him updates and was like, and then that kind of turned him on. She went
awful.
I know, but, I mean, for all I know, she fucking did say that. She's like, he needs to be there to watch this time to give you some pointers, mate. You know?
Comes in with a notepad.
Yeah.
That's bananas, that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's wild.
Would you do that, Callum?
Having someone watch?
Yeah.
No.
Would you watch? Are you not into that? That sounds like a proposition.
Not if it was like me girlfriend.
Oh yeah, no.
I don't think I could do that. I just want someone to watch me because I just know I do like weird things.
Like what?
Like my posture's a bit mad sometimes. And
Just looking at your little bum going.
yeah,
It's bad enough when you just catch yourself in the mirror and you go, fuck, is that what I look like? Yeah. And then some other guys been watching the whole time. Fuck that.
yeah.
It's a mad thing of where it comes from, innit? Like being a guy who wants to be like a cook or whatever, sitting watching. Like, where's that come from?
France, it turns out.
France.
It must be like, well, is it like, is sex a bit like the opposite of what you are sometimes? Like it's your release.
Oh, so if it's like a businesswoman or something, she loves to be dominated because she's in her job. She's
That's why I want to have sex with
so
men.
it might be like someone who's got FOMO or something. In real life. So then
I don't know if it's just like
maybe they don't like having FOMO in real life, so then they do like having FOMO in sex.
There's someone who I know who doesn't have penetrative sex. It doesn't penetrate. They're into like kink stuff.
Yeah.
And that is having a coffee in the morning with pissing. Like that's what they get off on.
Kater?
No, it's not. It's not.
No, it's someone from Townhouse, innit? We can cut that out if.
So their version of sex is not.
Townhouse.
Their version of sex is to drink a bit of coffee with piss in it.
Pissing, yeah, and they just have like piss and like sometimes having like a dog bowl and stuff, and they're just like
Some mad people.
they're just into like loads of, like,
And is
mad
this
kinks
a
and stuff.
girl or a boy or a them?
It is a boy
A boy.
Drinking the piss.
And
who's into like the piss stuff.
okay, and they don't.
There's
and
some Starbucks order in it.
Yeah. And a shot of piss, please.
Is that oat milk though?
Yeah, send it back.
There used to be sugar-free caramel as well, by the way. I'm very wary of what I put in my body.
You got a Starbucks there, haven't you?
That's literally my order, minus the piss.
So they don't have penetrative sex.
Not really. No, they don't get off on that. They're just into like kink stuff.
So what? So
And I get it's a guy and he doesn't go off on
Yeah.
sex. That's
does he wank?
Gay.
Can we talk?
well, it's just nothing into it. It's just like that's obviously more common for women, is it? You know, a lot of people. A lot of women say they can't have pleasure from penetrative sex. Well, that's what they told me anyway. And
Jamie,
like, because I think that's obviously a really common thing, but it's like, see, as a guy, you sort of feel a bit emasculated if like your cock's not the thing that does it for the women. I think like, see, like making a woman orgasm like with your hands versus like your dick's a bit like getting a win in the UFC by like a submission versus a knockout. It's like, you're still getting the finish, but it doesn't look as good for the camera.
These little UFC analogies you're
Two solid ones.
I've been watching quite a lot of
but they're the ones I resonate with the most. I'm like, exactly.
I was actually I went to the UFC in Perth while I was in Australia.
Oh,
because it was on. I managed to get a ticket. It was
that the
class.
Adesanya one?
No,
Volkanovski
and
Islam.
Sick fight that as well. It was class, man. It was really cool, and the atmosphere was unreal. Like, there's just entire crowd singing "fucking I come from a land down." It's nuts. I see that in
class. So we carry on with the staple questions. In it, do you have?
Can I say one dead quick thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
Back to Mischief Night. I found out. So Mischief Night is an informal holiday. Is celebrated by kids and teenagers in many parts of United States, Canada, and the UK.
Okay.
Canada as well. Yeah.
I wanted to ask further on the old cup of piss.
Okay.
So when does he come?
Don't.
See what you can get. Is it just normal what they sell in caffeine? Is it?
So drinking the piss makes him come, or does he not come?
He just gets turned on by it more
and then he has a wank.
Like going to have sex.
So, okay.
Do you know what I mean?
So we'll have a wank over drinking the piss.
It just gets him more excited.
To do what, though?
I'm getting like second-hand information. This isn't like I wasn't there.
Yeah,
this
fair.
is from what I heard. Basically, it gets more turned on, and like he's way more into like piss than.
I wonder if there's an event that triggered it. Like, did they get pissed on as a kid or something like that, or did they accidentally drink piss one time or some shit?
So we had someone on called Katie Smith. And she
Full
said,
name,
yeah, she
postcode.
She was on the episode. So,
no, I know.
She, when she was about 6, maybe, saw a builder pissing against a wall and was like,
"I want that."
That's hot.
Aye.
Yeah.
She's funny.
I can imagine that would maybe
Ruined.
be like for a lot of women the first time you kind of get a glimpse of
Mm.
a guy's.
I think it's a lot of that, like just with people growing up in it, like the whole foot fetish thing's meant to come from always seeing your ma's feet walking past you and that,
Yeah.
like not getting the attention, shit like that.
But that is
Yeah.
a TikTok cleaner.
No, it's not. I've heard
My
it
mum's
on
got mad
other
feet
stuff as well.
Oh,
Wow.
shit.
Yeah, she's got like proper like long toes.
So have you though, haven't
Yeah.
you?
No, mine kill over.
Curl over like that.
Yeah. Remember, I pick things up with him.
Yeah.
My first insight to sex was Trevor McDonald doing an expose on porn.
Seen Trev, come on. I want a bit of that.
Yeah, it's on. I was dead young, and he was doing a news report on porn. Trevor McDonald.
Is it the voice?
What?
Is it the voice?
Is that why you're now into interracial sex? Is that
Yeah.
so what he was doing a thing about porn?
Yeah. So I saw loads of porn as a kid, and then I was like making all my Barbies do porn.
Right.
And I corrupted like the whole street, all the kids on the street. I told them all about sex, and and we all just used to make our Barbies like shag.
What the hell?
That's crazy, that.
Yeah.
So you're that
everybody.
person, did the parents need to have a meeting about you at one point? going
No, I moved around too much, so you couldn't catch
Yeah,
me.
you went on tour with it.
Yeah.
Just wanted posters up. Like, have you seen this girl?
Yeah, I was the Charles Manson of my time. What was I going to say? Yeah, have you got any kinks?
MILFs.
Yeah.
Are they like you, innit? MILFs like you.
Yeah, MILFs love Callum.
I don't know why. I don't know if it's like
Cheeky little handsome boy, that's why.
maybe. I just get a little bit scared, Mark.
I can see it. You've definitely got that quality, and you seem like such a handsome, nice chap.
Yeah,
And I
cheeky
could
little
see,
chappy.
And they want to ruin you.
Sorry, what?
Gulp.
Nah, I don't have any kinks, me.
No.
I might have some. I think I'm a bit nervous because I'm afraid that I'll have like a crazy
Dark
one.
ones.
Yeah, and I'll have to like try and get to that level of like
Yeah.
turned on again.
And then you need to start drinking piss in your coffee every morning.
Yeah. But people like I heard one about a girl when she was younger, she got shot by a BB gun. And someone like the lad who shot her by accident ran over like, oh, I'm sorry. And then she was like, oh no, I like that. Like the pain of it.
Yeah.
Like she loved it. And now she's like into like
Pain's a big thing, innit? When we done
Shit.
the swingers special at Townhouse on Patreon, Nancy from there, she was like fucking loved pain and that. She like showed us a picture of her ass after it had been like proper twatted and it like bleeding and everything.
Bloody ass.
And it was just like fucking, but it's just that the line between pain and pleasure can get like fucked in people's heads, and then just that's what causes like. This is even with like tattooing. Some people used to sit there just going, "Oh, I quite enjoy getting tattooed." Just sit and make a noise for hours, and then some people you go and they go, like crying that, and you'd be like,
Some
"Fucking
people
hell."
squirt.
Some people
And they're
swear.
getting tattooed.
You seen that video?
No.
Oh,
I've seen
is
the
that
one
real?
where, but I think that one's black, where he's tattooed and he's going.
Yes.
I think it's fake because they're filming it. Do you get what I
Yeah.
mean? I think.
water gun is just
But
gonna-
I know someone's told me that it's happened, like, but it wasn't like that, like proper squirting out. Like it was just she got up and it was like a wet patch on the bed.
Sometimes you see that in porn when it's like it's like a fake cum shot for like a fake dick or something.
Yeah.
I've seen
Yeah.
that, and then it's like it's like this fucking explode.
Yeah.
You're like, there's no way that's no.
It's like a fucking jet wash. Like, fucking hell. Jesus Christ.
But you never see the person attached to like it's like a fucking fake cock funnel thing. And it's like,
Yeah.
there's no fucking.
It's the guy going like that. Trying to blow it out. The other side.
breathes in by accident.
Have you got any kinks, Mark?
No, I'm like Callum. I'm a bit too normal. I just like shagging.
Yeah.
I just like normal
Good old
shagging.
fashioned
that.
shagging.
Yeah.
Aye. That's why, because anything, because like girls like asking you that sometimes when you're sleeping together, and then I basically I'm like the typical guy. Like I'll just suggest the things
Yeah.
that all guys want to suggest, and they're like, oh fuck's sake, but but no, I'm pretty.
Rob in Fanny.
Oh, the other one, but
The other one. I think it's like that though, innit? Like you could ask me if I've got kinks and that, and I go, I don't know. But then, like, when you actually get involved, and then someone goes, "Oh, do you want to do this?" You go, "Yeah, all right, let's try it." And then afterwards, you might be like, "Oh, that was
Especially when you had the drink.
wild."
I
When you've had the
I
drink,
get a little bit wild when I've had the drink.
you get a bit loose.
Bye.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And the visions get lowered, and yeah, no.
I don't want to know what you've been up to now. Do you want to
Right.
do more staple?
Yep. So, most embarrassing or shameful moment, and your proudest moment.
Proudest moment's a hard one because you're like, what the fuck am I proud about? No, I'll go with shameful first, right? So this was something that I'd never spoke about for years until recently, and but it was like a memory for when I must have honestly been like maybe 7,
Yeah.
and I've never spoke to this guy about this, but basically what happened was it was a guy that I was friends with when I was young, and we were in my house, and my mum must have been out at the shops or something, right? So we were just in together, and for some reason, right, we decided just like to both like get naked, and then we just took turns like kissing each other on the arse. But not in like a sexual way, then. It was just sort of like, I don't know, we just thought, let's do this, and then
Kiss each other's bums.
and just kiss each other, and then I guess we just put our clothes back on, and to this day I've never spoke to that guy about it.
I had a cig after, like,
Yeah.
He was your age.
He was the same,
Okay,
we were
that's
same,
fine,
age, same, yeah. So,
Okay.
but just for
Just kiss it just on the cheek, just a little peck on the cheek.
On the bum hole.
no, on the cheek.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
no.
how
Don't be
old, how
crazy.
old were you?
Probably about 7 or something like that, 7 or 8
Just a
maybe,
7-year-old's bum.
when I was also that age.
That's funny. That
You can't be a paedophile when you're a kid, which is why it's okay to still listen to Jackson 5 because he was a child at that point.
Yeah. Forgot about that rule.
ABC, you know, it's fine.
little
Still
loophole
play
there.
that.
Yeah,
Still play that.
That's so funny.
it's such a funny story. That.
Yeah, so like that
Go on.
was that. I honestly like I just had that thing in my memory for years, and I just had never spoke about it, and then
Yeah.
I
It's,
just-
you do weird stuff when you're young, innit? Like,
and actually because I spoke about it on our podcast, and then so many people were getting in touch saying, and most people, a lot of people were like, oh, girls do like more fucked up shit than that, and even
Yeah.
just everybody's got that kind of story when you just didn't even know what it was or anything. You just sort of
yeah,
Well,
I
just-
remember putting a pencil up my fanny.
did you?
Yeah, before he came.
Wasn't the sharp end, was it?
No, but I didn't even realise there was a hole. And I remember discovering the hole.
It just went, and you're like, where was that going?
Yeah. Yeah.
Come out your ear.
Yeah.
Is that before or after you started making your Barbies? porn?
Before. Oh no, was this after?
It must have been
Before?
after.
It was after. I can't remember.
Aye.
But yeah, and girls would always like practice on each other as well, like kissing and stuff like that.
So did
Yeah.
he?
So
Yeah.
Hey, I know how to kiss an arse.
Girl sleepover sounds sick.
Yeah, it sound
Yeah.
well
We used to
better.
just
Don't
burn
Yeah,
each
but-
other's pubes.
Yeah, but you're like,
burn them.
Yeah. Used to light them on fire.
That's a thing though, right? That's a thing that's a bit too far from me, that's becoming into common parlance now. You hear about people saying eating ass, right?
Mm.
Which I don't even think would be as common if people had to call it eating arse, because it just doesn't sound as appetising, right?
Yeah, saying arse probably might put you off, doesn't it?
that's not getting a lot of clicks on Pornhub. It's like
Yeah.
eat arse, you know. But for me, because I don't know, I'm a bit like I'm not that way inclined, you know. Whatever, no,
Just kiss the
not
cheeks.
a kink shame, yeah, just
Yeah.
the cheeks for me. But I think it makes sense that it's becoming more popular, because you see a lot of the Gen Z folk and all that talking about
Yeah.
it now, don't you? And it's like, but of course it makes sense to them, because they're all 18, 19, early 20s, right? They can.
And gender and sex is fluid, so like our generation or the generation before us was like, no, don't go near that. That's fucking gay bit. That's the
Yeah.
gay bit. Where the young kids are like, who's asked? Fucking
But-
get involved.
So
in
that's
that.
true. They're definitely more open, but
Yeah.
they're also young, right? Let's see how many of them are into eating ass when they're in their 30s. And everybody's got piles and IBS.
Yeah, it's a young man's game, ass eating. Yeah, they've all got nice little bums, haven't they? That's what it is.
Those 7-year-olds.
Oh, fucking hell. So what's your proudest moment then?
Proudest moments. I mean, it's probably something to do with stand up, which is
Yeah,
probably a
yeah.
bit boring. But actually, even with the podcast, because like we only started it last May, and I've been doing all the edit. I had been doing all the editing and everything for it, and got it up and running. and I suppose I'm still the producer on it. And so we done a live show at the end of December at the Stand in Glasgow, and like we sold it out in like a day, which we couldn't believe.
Sick,
Amazing.
And then see just that night on stage, like you don't know yourselves for doing the live shows and stuff, but see just being up there, like just with a couple of your pals, and like we stand up, you're going in with material and stuff like that, and you know it's a show and it is fun to do it on your own, but see getting to do it with mates, and you're just really up there just talking shit and having a laugh.
Like you're having a pint in the pub, innit? But everyone's watching.
But everyone's watching, and they're invested because they've listened to you and stuff like that. And just the fact that it was kind of something I felt like we'd all built, but like I'd set up,
put a big load of effort into
it. And see just to have it pay off, and just went, this is just a really cool moment. So I think recently, certainly, that's one of the proudest ones.
It was right. That's cool. That.
Love that.
It's good.
Yeah. Is it what some laugh?
Some laugh. It's called which is a thing that we say in Scotland. Do you see that here? Like
he's some laughing. Or whatever. Yeah.
That's just where that's basically.
Yeah, it's a good name. Like
it's all right, and then it also gives us the out of going, well, we're not saying it's all laugh.
Yeah, some laugh.
More interested and funny or whatever. So
I like that.
Well, I was the Mild High Club because addictions.
Yeah.
Do you have any addictions?
Aye. Well, I've never really been a big drugs guy or anything. It's never really been my bag. But I suppose, like everybody, just the phone and stuff like that. And
the phone's a very common answer lately.
Yeah.
Like, because they're just made to have people on there, innit? Like,
if there's anything, it's probably maybe been food more that I've no struggled with, but just have a bit of an unhealthier relationship with, just because I'm a bit all or nothing when it comes to that sort of stuff, you know, like, and because that's I tried and I've been quite good in the last couple of months, and I've lost a bit of weight that I'd put on over lockdown and stuff, but I was trying to do the paleo stuff and stay off the bread, and to me, right, I mean, listen, I'm not really taking drugs, right, so that's a lot of shit, but I kind of think in a way it's probably harder to stay off bread than it is to stay off some sort of drugs, right? Because for one thing, right, there's too much social pressure, right? Like going on, everybody's always trying to get you eat bread, or even chocolate and sugar and all that sort of stuff. You know, no one's sitting at the fucking Christmas dinner table just have a wee line, unless you're from a really fucked up family. But also like advertising and stuff, like, you know, you can't pass a bus stop without seeing an advert for Subway or whatever. If you're trying to get off coke, then you're not seeing that. I mean, it is more addictive, obviously, I'm sure, but I just think
I genuinely think sugar's like as addictive as cocaine now. Like there's studies on it that say that sugar's like just as bad for you. Like even back in the day, like when they done the food pyramids and that years ago, the sugar companies paid off like the food administration to make out like saturated fat and red meat and all that were bad for you.
That's it.
To put people onto like carbs and sugar, but it's actually that's getting you fucked because it causes loads of inflammation and that.
That's it.
But they done like studies on like how the brain reacts to cocaine and to sugar, and it's like the same sort of things, light up and shit, man. And yeah, so it's probably just as like, maybe, you know, you're not going fucking sucking dicks for blue ribbons and that, but like you might do it. Someone's fucking, if you couldn't get it from every shop you go past, like you say, but it is meant to be like just as bad as trying to like kick a drug, like.
But there's that added thing of it's just so socially acceptable to just, you know, to just eat that. And particularly with bread as well, people look at you like a weirdo if you try and stay off the bread.
Well,
I know, and it's so nice as well. That's the hard thing. So, but that's the only way. And there's a million ways that people can lose weight without doing that, but that's just the only way I know how to do it. And I like eating meat and stuff like that, so I don't feel it's that restricting. It's just you need to be a wee bit disciplined to like ask for fucking, see when you're getting your eggs and bacon, you need to just ask no toast, please. That's toast. Tough. See, if the toast there, I'll eat it.
Do you not even go like sourdough or nothing like that?
Nah, because it's all the same shit. It's all the same. But that's probably my main thing is I think it is the food stuff, and I think I'm like that in life a lot when I'm a bit all or nothing.
It's a bit of an addictive personality, do you reckon? Or?
I don't know about that, but I think that's maybe part of the reason why I've never really wanted to get into taking drugs and stuff like that, or even smoking or whatever, just because I know that, I mean, I've already got enough bad habits that I'm trying to curb without getting myself more. But I think, to be honest, like, this is something I've only realised maybe in later years when I've looked back. But so the reason I never smoked, that's part of the reason how I don't really take, like, I've never smoked weed or anything, because it's not that I would necessarily be that bothered either way. It's just that I never smoked. And I think it's because, like, just a story growing up was, like, my granddad, like, died of a heart attack when he was, like, in his 40s, right? And it was because he smoked, basically. So I just always had that associated, that's like, that's a thing you don't do, and then it was similar with drugs and all that as well. Like, I just had people in my family that
that
fucked
happens.
up. So you kind of, it's only because I used to always think, I was just too much of a shite bag. And then by the time I got old enough, I didn't care anymore. Because like when I was like 14 or something, like I started hanging about with like a new group of pals, and I remember one day finding out like they all smoked weed, and it was like my whole world came. I'm like, oh my god, you know, like, and then but then eventually, like then you just get kind of used to it, and they got used to me just being the one that didn't do it. So I was never, so I'd never bowed to peer pressure.
That's
when I was
a good
like
thing,
hanging
at least,
about
though,
with BAMs when I was fucking 14. So when I'm 21 and
don't eat this bread, and you're like, no.
No, but you know what I mean. You're 21 and you're about people, and it's a bit more like, I'd already not bow to peer pressure with like the hardest people that I ever hung about with. So when I'm 21, it's uni or in comedy clubs, it's all these wee posh ponces, and like they're trying to get you. You're like, no, why would I? And also, I just like had got past the point where I'd have been young enough
sort of wanting to try it, and
wanting to try it. So
I think that comes back around that age, though. I reckon maybe when people start getting to like 50 and that, they're like, do you know what, I wouldn't mind trying some drugs. I don't know how much time I've got left. Let's start taking drugs. Do you get what I mean?
It's like the Catholic schoolgirl thing, maybe. You don't have sex, and then you're like, woo, sex.
Sex,
which is a thing, by the way. But I know, because I'm always fascinated listening to stuff about DMT and all that, because I just like that idea that, experiencing the different forms of consciousness and all this sort of shit. But yeah, I think it'd be a hard drug to start on.
Mushrooms is probably your best one to start with. Little low dose of it. Sometimes if you take a little enough amount, you won't even necessarily feel like you're on something. You just feel a bit more like heightened and a bit happier and that.
When we moved to Scotland, we'll guide you through it.
I know, apparently I'm nearly best up. Because the only time I've really done is, I say, because I've not really smoked weed because I just don't smoke, but I did take a brownie in Amsterdam once, but I think I had like the opposite reaction you're meant to have, because I remember taking it in this cafe, and then we went round to that wee square, whatever that one's called, and there was like some street performer, and this is before I'd done stand-up, so I was obviously a frustrated performer myself, so I ended up, it was in the big circle around him, and at one point it was something, I just ran into the middle and started dancing. I thought it was meant to chill you out. But yeah.
Maybe that was the sugar in the brownie there.
Probably the sugar, because I do remember we just sat next to that Van Gogh fucking place and sat in the hill for about 3 hours just staring at the fucking sky.
Yeah, that's the weed kicking in there. It was the sugar that was making you dance around the fucking fella. Is right.
I think that's all our staple questions, isn't it? Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
I think
toxic traits and that, saving grace.
Oh, have you got toxic traits?
Do you feel like you've got any toxic traits?
Do you know what I found out recently? Was I done one of these sort of test things, and it's about, like, because you get the love languages one. It's not that, it's attachment theory. If your attachment style.
Right.
And I found out mine's was, what is it? It's like dismissive. I'm going to look it up, sorry.
No, it's fine. What's it called?
There's a thing called an attachment quiz. Yeah, so, and it's like attachment style. So I'm dismissive avoidant, apparently.
Okay.
And I read it and I was like, fuck, that is me.
That sounds like me.
Yeah, because it's just a bit, it's like you're logical and you want your freedom and all that sort of stuff. And it's like, and then if things start going badly, you'll just kind of, like, have some big confrontation, you'll just kind of,
separate away from it.
Yeah, but it's what happens a lot of times. Things will maybe just fizzle out with me and stuff like that.
Oh no, I quite like confrontation.
Do you?
Yeah. Well, I'm just not afraid of it. I don't actively seek it out, but I'm not.
Well, you're
afraid
not scared to go.
I was
hey,
born in the confrontation.
Yeah. Have you ever done a personality test?
Aye, a few times, and I've always more or less get different results. Like I used to always say that I was an introvert, which I think I am probably more.
Yeah.
But then I've got ones that's been extrovert. I think I'm an extroverted introvert, probably.
Right, yeah.
But I don't know.
I think a lot of comedians are like
Kendrick
that.
Lamar,
yeah.
Because you see them on stage.
Antisocial extrovert.
Yeah. Because you see them on stage, like, performing and having a laugh with everyone. And everyone goes, fucking, and then you go off stage and you just sort of like just want to be on your own, like sit and with your thoughts and so that's like you can't go, oh, I'm an introvert when you're doing stand up. But then when you go off stage, just like, I'm not going to go out for a bevy. I just want to go and chill over.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm comfortable socially, and I think I'm not good at antisocial thing that a lot of comics have got. Well, I think anyway. I don't know about other people, but I'm pretty comfortable that way. But I think it's just more the way I'd always heard it explained was like, when you come in, would you rather just like go and have a bit of your own time, or would you tell somebody about your whole day or whatever? And I was always like more, that, and you're in your head and you're thinking about
right.
jokes in the world and what you read a book or something. I'm a bit more like that, but I think everyone's on a sliding scale with it, so I'm a
true. It depends what day you've had in that it as well. Like 100%. I was a debater and I debated the test. The answer.
Really?
Yeah. They come through saying you're a debater, and I was like, "Don't fucking, I'm not that." What are you on about? And I read through it, and that's me. That's definitely me. Yeah.
I'm an advocate.
An advocate.
That was mine. Yeah. The rarest personality type.
Is it?
Yeah.
So what does that entail?
I don't know. You have a lot. I can't remember.
Advocate personality type or something. Type that
into. I think what.
Come up with avocado.
Avocado personality type.
Yeah.
That would be interesting, though, the attachment style thing, because it's apparently it's to do with like obviously relationships and stuff like that. But
I'm gonna have a look at that test.
I'm very bad at relationships.
Yeah. Because that's if you've ever done the love languages one.
Nah.
Oh really? I done it, and I think that's a lot of shite.
What is a love language?
So there's this guy that wrote this book, and it's like the 5 love languages. Because you see it online and all that, and everyone's like, "Oh, my love language is, fucking drinking piss out of a coffee cup or whatever." But it's like words of affirmation and gift giving and this and that, and it's it's meant to be about how to communicate better with your partner or something. But mine's a lot of shite. But mine's apparently is words of affirmation. So I just like people to tell me that.
Right.
Whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
Some people it's like physical touch or whatever. But I mean, it's like again, like
so you like a verbal validation and shit like that or whatever. Yeah.
Because I think I've been in.
Yeah, it sounds like.
There'll be a lot of comics will have that, I reckon.
I did. Oh, that's it. I guess that's what you're really wanting for the audience, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just
that's it. Yeah. Defo.
Not physical touch.
Unless I'm filming it for a video.
What did you see what that advocate thing is?
Yeah, an advocate. INFJ.
Yeah,
is someone with introverted, intrusive. Oh fuck's sake. Intrusive feeling and judging personality traits. They tend to approach life with deep thoughtfulness and imagination. Their inner vision, personal values, and a quiet principled version of humanism guide them in all things.
You just say words. I didn't get any of them.
You're that anyway.
You're what 1%?
Yeah, 1% of the world.
You're the one. We're meant to hate you, the 1%.
I know. I'm a minority. Love me. Give me opportunities.
Oprah Winfrey.
I think
Nelson Mandela.
Mel Gibson.
Those
two are also minorities, by the way.
Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler is right.
I think I had a dream about Adam Sandler last night.
All right.
Never mind.
And Hitler.
Really?
No.
He was a one-off kind of guy.
He's an advocate for something, wasn't he? We'll move on from that. We'll probably wrap it up there anyway, I think, innit? Sorry, guys. It's all right.
Tune in next week to find out what Hitler was an advocate for.
You can find that out yourself.
And on that bombshell.
He was an Everton fan. There's one for you. Then the Hitlers used to go Goodison and that.
Aye. That's a shame. He could have, if he'd stayed alive a bit longer, he could have enjoyed those fucking boats on the canal.
Little canal taxis, right, so we wrap it up, man. Thanks for coming on. So where can people find you?
At Marc Jenko on most stuff, and check out Some Laugh podcast as well. I will probably most likely be putting my special up there on the Some Laugh channel as well over the summer, so do look out for that. And
we'll have everything in the description and that. I had to listen to the one with Mark Nelson the other day. It was good chat, man, about like going to watch Oasis and all the music chats and festivals and all that. It was class. We're seeing the clips on Twitter and that as well, so go check out Some Laugh.
Have you finished your tour? Are you still?
So just the one date I've got left is the 24th of March. I don't know if this will be out by then, but it's just for the Glasgow Comedy Festival now.
I don't think it'll be out, no.
No, so I'll have just done it. And
how was it?
I was brilliant. Absolutely smashed it. But so I'll be at Edinburgh Festival in August as well. So
cool. Keep an eye out for that.
Keep an eye out.
And as always, nice one for tuning in. We've got anything coming up, Callum?
You got a burlesque?
Gigs Natch, follow me on Instagram.
Oh, we're doing a burlesque. That'll be fun.
Got burlesque dancing, yeah.
17th of May.
I'll also be loving that, Callum.
Get the MILFs in.
If you want to see the fellas rip the pants off, get down to Albert Sloss.
Albert
And our
Sloss.
1 minute freestyle.
The end of the performance.
God knows what's
Is
gonna
1
happen
minute
there.
just doing whatever you want.
Right.
But, and they've got
My
to be
1
up on
minute.
tables.
my 1 minute of whatever I want might be walking off the stage, depending on how it's going. So yeah, nice one for coming on, man. Appreciate it.
Yes.
Go check out some Laugh and Mark stuff and that. And we'll be back next week, as always. Take it easy. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thanks
Thank
for having us,
you.
guys.